Good evening, everyone, and welcome to AGA Sessions. This is our seventh session. Today's guest is the artist Gideon Rubin. In these sessions, we focus on people at their home. Yes, you have.
Amazing.
How are you?
Live, how are you?
Alive as well.
Welcome to the studio.
Thank you. Welcome to my library. Thanks, Gidi, for joining us. I gave a brief introduction, but maybe you can tell us a bit about your work, what sort of medium you work in, and where is your studio?
My studio is in London, in Kilburn, very, very close to where I live, which is very, very convenient in these days. I've been living in London for more than 20 years. I'm a painter. I paint figures and landscapes, especially work in oil and canvas and linen. Also work with gouache and cardboards. I make these little portraits sometimes when I get the feel. I work with unprinted magazines. I work on paper like that. I like material. Yeah, this is my studio. You can see some of the work I'm doing.
Great.
That's about it.
Thank you. How has the lockdown affected your work, if at all? For instance, is there a shortage in sourcing materials?
No, I don't think so. I mean, for artists, it's this kind of isolation is a state of being in a way, or at least that's how my life is. I mean, I'm mostly in the studio by myself anyway. So in that respect, it changed, it changed kind of everything around it, but not really that fact. The 70% of my day is pretty much the same. It did, however, change a lot of other things. I mean, it's kind of like, the walls of the studio are walls, but they let things in. And it just changed quite a bit of things. But I don't think there's a problem in sourcing. I think on the contrary, there's like more time to look and search and on the web. Part of my, although I can say that, I mean, it's not that true. I mean, part of my thing is to go around and look for things. I like to go to antique markets. I like to go to bookshops. I like to touch things. I like to look around, and that's a bit out of the question now. So
yeah. So touching on that, how is that? Has the pandemic in any way influenced your subject matter of your paintings?
I don't think it did that much. Although, I mean, certain things, again, like my work is kind of, I focus on my work and I do what I do, but then reality has a way of sipping through and having a peek and looking in. And I think one of the things that I've painted now, which would be a bit different than before, I've started painting these facial masks, the people with facial masks, surgical masks. But that's something I've known already. I mean, my wife is my partner is from Hong Kong, China, and I've seen that. We've seen that quite a bit. I guess since the SARS anyway, but it's a natural. Okay, I mean, you see it very, very naturally.
Yeah.
So it was like a familiar thing. But obviously, it's I think for it to come into my work, it has to touch me in a sort of personal way, which it did. that was a palette.
Gideon, I know that you exhibit a lot worldwide, and obviously traveling abroad has been impacted by the current conditions. So have you had any cancellations of exhibitions, or has that sort of impacted your sales, for instance? The fact that you can't, clients can't necessarily come to meet you at the studio or meet you at exhibitions?
I mean, a lot of things kind of change because of the technicality of things. So just before the lockdown, I was in New York for an exhibition, and then I went to Israel, to Jerusalem, to the Artist House where I opened an exhibition, a solo show, and it closed down, I think, a week later. I mean, I just got to London and then it closed. I don't think anyone saw it. I hope it's going to be extended until September, but things like that happen quite a bit. I mean, so that show was kind of stopped where it was. I was supposed to have another exhibition at a museum in Tel Aviv, a landscape exhibition, a two-person show with a painter called Eldar Farber, which I like very much. And he was postponed to September, I hope. But certain things continued and kind of stayed. And I mean, I was scheduled to open an exhibition in Milan, of all places, on May 15th, but that's opening next week. So I'm
Okay.
very happy about it, although I'm not going, but it's better that my work is going rather than me. So in that sense, yeah, I mean, everything is on hold, everything is on hold, but the job is kind of, I guess, to look at the bright things and how to make that work for you. And for me, it was, I think, the slowdown, which I've heard other people. So it just let me take time, a little bit time, and that was nice. I have to say, in that respect, that was all right.
Okay, great. I've got a sort of one last question.
Go for it.
Which is sort of a bigger topic, maybe. Do you think COVID will have an impact on the way we view art in the future? For instance, restrictions in museums and galleries. There's all of a sudden you can you can use Google View and wander in
visit in my studio, for example, without moving away from your couch.
So do you think will become more of a norm, or what's your view on the future?
Well, prophecy, I wonder, but I mean, there's certain things that I think will definitely change. Certain things hopefully will not. I hope that just as I'm thinking about, one of the things that I want to do the most when this is over, I mean, when this is open up, is just go to a gallery. I just want to see some art by myself. I don't care if anyone's there. Hopefully even better than someone's there. As someone that goes often to galleries, it's usually a very lonely affair anyway. There's a person sitting behind the desk, and maybe you come in with someone and that's it. Maybe there's another person inside. So I don't think that, in that sense, I don't think it will harm the galleries that much, I hope. Maybe it will actually bring it, the kind of the physical experience again of enjoying it, which is something I'm just very much looking forward to, the actual feeling and smelling of the art and touching it. On the other hand, then for example, you got the art fair things, and that I don't know how that will last. That doesn't seem to be, that's so 2019, you know what I mean? It doesn't, I don't think it works with social distancing at all. And it also opened up many things in terms of online, I mean, I was reading an article that a professor was writing that, you can try and implement certain things online and It was talking about academia, and you could try and work on it for 10 years, but 2 weeks of this lockdown would do what you couldn't do for 10 years. And I think that is, I mean, a lot of things are moving anyway on online. I think that just strengthened it and just, double the speed of that. And, the gallery in Milan, Monica De Cardena, she couldn't come to see she was scheduled to come to a studio visit, but we did a studio visit pretty much like that. And I just ran around and moved paintings and could be my jittery self. So I think it's yes and no. I think after a while, I think slowly, I mean, again, my wife is from Hong Kong and China, and we've seen that before, like 10 years ago with the SARS. Things slowly come back to life. I think it will take quite some time, but when they do, hopefully we'll get some of our old life sense back somehow.
Okay. Anyone who has questions, please write them below. And in the meantime, Gidi, I usually ask our guests if they want to say something as a sort of summary or sort of a statement.
I wish I had a brilliant quote or something. I was just reading some Charles Bukowski quotes, and I could have a quote there, but I won't. No, not much. I mean, it's you're kind of in make an effort. I mean, you see the people that, you know, are in the front line and you're just in awe. On the other hand, you try not to open any kind of newspaper and not to just pull your head out of anger.
Yeah.
I was again, you have some time to like look at films, and you know, I was digging into Louisiana channel and seeing all kinds of interviews with artists. And there was some, you know, I fell on an interview with David Hockney, and he was like, "Oh, no one's talking about spring. Spring is coming, you know. It doesn't sell news, it doesn't sell the paper, you know, but spring is here." And I thought that was wonderful, you know, from instead of looking, for, you know, all these people, I wouldn't let them lead anything, especially not us. Yeah, so this is something that I think everyone is feeling. You know, you just, one of the good things that you see, you just appreciate what you have, the good stuff. You know, like a sunny morning. You know, obviously my daughters, you know, playing around and just seeing, you know, spring blooming, seeing friends. The simple things become very precious, and for painting, that is quite good.
Gideon, we have a technical.
We have a question.
A sort of technical question.
Go for it.
When you paint on cardboard, like in your book, is that acrylic, or do you prime the cardboard and use oil paint?
Gouache on cardboard. No priming.
Okay. Someone asked if you can show us around your studio.
Oh, all right. It's a bit messy. I wasn't prepared for that. Hold on.
Well, you're an artist. You're meant to.
Yeah, I will. Well,
No?
well, I can. How do I flip it?
Wow.
Oh, sorry. So that's the office.
Yeah.
And you can see the paintings there. That's my family, my daughters. There's a wife pregnant there somewhere, etc., etc. That's the office. That's the mess. Here's the, you know, kind of storyboard table wall. You got the Goyas, the Velasquez, the Rembrandts, Manets, El Greco, cats, etc., etc. Well, that's where I do the messy kind of that. And then that's the studio. That's the palette. That's the things I was working on today.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. The storage in the back there. That's my wife's work. That one. Celia. Yeah, it's one of my daughters painting when she was 3 years old or something. Yeah. That's about it.
I think I'm on your wall somewhere now.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah.
There's the wall of people that come visit.
Yeah.
See, where are you? Where are you?
I think yeah, there. You missed it.
Okay.
On the right.
Ah, there you are. And that's my collections. I collect all kinds of like cars and dolls and things from all day. My daughter calls this one Sad Mickey. She does not understand how come my father has something like that. Anyway, that's one of the weirdest. Yeah. Well, that's about it.
Well, Gideon, thanks very much for your time. I know that's what we have time for, and thanks for the tour of your lovely studio.
Of the studio. Yeah, it's a kind of a home series, but it's good to change a bit. I mean, and generally I probably spend here more waking hours than I spend at home, so it kind of counts as a fairly as a home, I imagine.
Yeah. All right. So I wish you all the best and stay safe.
Same to you. Regards to the family, love to all, and yeah, stay safe, and let's get out of it. Let's see the back of this.
Yeah, definitely. So love to the family.
Take care, buddy.
Thanks everyone.
Bye-bye.
Thanks for joining. And
thank you, everyone.
Please tune in next week. Bye-bye.